I've got tissue.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Don, and as has already been mentioned, I'm the father of the bride, Amy. I have the pleasure of making the first speech and being the supporter for Pete. You'll also be pleased to know that I will be finished before the bar closes. I've practiced this many times. Firstly, on behalf of Elaine and myself, and the groom's godfather David, and his partner Chrissy, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome and thank you all for joining us today in celebrating Amy and Pete's wedding. I'd also like to thank everyone who has helped with the organisation of today. Now that the day has finally arrived, I feel so proud of Amy and who has planned her big day so perfectly. I'm sure all of you agree that she looks absolutely beautiful today. And of course, Pete has scrubbed up quite well. Can I ask everybody to be extra careful with the table decorations, as Pete's taking them back to Poundland on Monday to get ready. Now, Amy is very nervous about my speech, because, as she well knows, it's a father's job description to embarrass his daughter, and I've always been particularly good at that. Having said that, Amy, you can relax. I'll wait until we're on the dance floor later. Amy arrived in this world of ours at the West Middlesex Hospital in West London at 17 minutes past 1 in the afternoon, which was very agreeable. When she was born, she was handed to me first, so it was with mixed emotions today that I handed her over to Pete. The reality of parenthood when it came to take Amy home from hospital. In them days, I used to drive around in an MGB GT, which was my absolute pride and joy. I loved it. Imagine my horror when I discovered that the only place for Amy and her carry cot was in the boot. Sadly, that car went within a couple of weeks. Being the child of a serviceman, Amy moved for the first time when she was around 2 years old. She went on to move a further 3 times by the time she was 5 years old. Amy moved to Fareham when she was around 6 years old, where she has remained despite a short lapse of judgment when she briefly moved to South Africa. I'm surprised Amy...
Sorry guys.
I'm surprised Amy has managed to make it to adulthood in one piece, given what we used to get up to when she was very young. What you've got to remember is that these were the golden years before health and safety. One of the things we used to do, or I used to do, was put her in a carrier bag. Swing around, lots of times, which she really enjoyed. The other thing we used to do, where we actually lived at the time, there was a very, very steep hill directly outside our house. She used to sit on the bar of the bicycle, and I used to go charging down this hill, flat out, with her shouting, "Faster, Daddy, faster." Obviously, there was no helmets involved in those days. There is another incident involving a step ladder, which nearly killed her, but I think I'll gloss over that one. Amy has always loved her animals. As a child, she had many, many different pets, and she looked after them all very well. Sadly, some of her pets did not fare quite so well when I got involved. Unfortunately, I incinerated a budgie one day by leaving it in the conservatory on a particularly hot day and closing all the windows. Then there was the school guinea pig, who I let out for a run, and we never saw again. Now, Amy has always loved music. I used to place headsets on her mum's bum and played heavy rock to her. Unfortunately, Amy got her own impact on me quite a few years later, when she introduced me to the delights of Slipknot, 9 Inch Nails.
Yes.
Oh, and then there was somebody called Marilyn Manson. Marvellous. That's all I can say. When Amy left college, she chose dental nursing as her career. I was so pleased that she had made such a sensible choice. However, I do recall a conversation several years later when she was having a bit of a moan about her job. On asking her, Amy, in an ideal world, what would you really want to do apart from dental nursing? To which she replied, I want to be a body piercer and a tattooist. Needless to say, that conversation between us ended quite abruptly. I have to say, thankfully, she does seem to have inherited most of her better traits from her mum and only a few bad habits from me. You certainly have your mum's kind nature, Amy. And from me, well, you're definitely stubborn. And lots of people suffer from wind. Being a parent is not easy. Most of us just muddle through and hope for the best. Amy has grown into a lovely woman who is a great mum to Florence, and I am sure will be a wonderful wife to Pete. Initially, I was not keen on becoming a granddad, but from the second I set eyes on Florence, I was smitten. So thank you for bringing her into our lives. You're doing a great job and I'm proud of you both. Deliberately, I have steered away from mentioning Pete up until now, as I'm sure the best man has far more tales to tell. Pete, thanks for the pictures of the strippers from last night. Amy's previous boyfriends have left a little bit to be desired. Now I'm assuming there are none of them with us today. Good, because Pete is by far the best of the bunch. He's a very clever man, an absolute doting father on Florence, and of course, he loves Amy to bits. I'm proud to have him as my son-in-law. Amy has finally chosen well, after a shaky start, boyfriend-wise. When the father of the bride makes his speech, he's supposed to offer some parting advice to the newly married couple, starting out on their married life together. Now, as I'm not particularly well qualified in this subject, I thought I could get some ideas by looking back in the history to see what others might have said on this very complex subject. One quotation I found was, "A great marriage is not when the perfect couple comes together, it is when an imperfect couple learns to enjoy their differences." Another quotation I found said simply, "A happy marriage is the union of two good forgivers." Very good advice. There are many other quotations like this, but in the end, it all comes down to how much you really want to be together. It's as simple as that, really. There are only two lasting bequests parents can hope to give their children. One of these is roots, the other is wings. Hopefully, over the years, you have been given your strong roots, Amy, and today, I know that the time is right for you to fly away with Peter. So go with our sincere blessings and make a life for yourself with every success for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasant duty to propose a toast to the happy couple. Can I therefore ask you to please stand and raise a glass to the new Mr. and Mrs. McKenzie-Baughan. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. McKenzie-Baughan.
The last speech I gave was a presentation in front of a rabble of IT directors and associated computer geeks at Throxton Motorsport Centre. Please forgive me if it sounds as though a 60-slide PowerPoint presentation is imminent, pie charts and Gantt graphs of the pitfalls and merits of married life. I would like to thank everyone who has made today possible. Don and Vic, Elaine, for welcoming me into their family. The beautiful bridesmaids, Hayley and Jack, our little crew of flower girls, of which one is calling out from under the table at the moment. Florence, Isla and Erin, all of whom look amazing. I also extend my thanks to my best man and groomsmen, Wiggy and Paul, both of whom played equal parts in my intoxication and ensuring I left my stag do with all appendages attached.
Good luck on that, I tell you.
My wife, confessed to me after the stag do that she snuck out a photo of me as a choir boy for the purposes of emblazoning it on a t-shirt at Wiggy's suggestion. She didn't anticipate us all staggering into the Deco pub in Portsmouth at the exact moment the Sussex chapter of the Vikings motorcycle arrived at the same establishment. I would love to say my pride was unhurt. I would also love to thank those of you who have come so far to join us today, especially my godparents David and Chrissy. Their unswerving support in, shall we say, formative years truly has made our wonderful little family possible, so thank you. Amy's going to hate me for saying this. One of our things, since we first got together, is for me to recite her full name, Amy McKenzie, a statement useful in both expressing my surprise at her agreeing to marry me, and also relevant when her creative insanity needs putting in check. I first met Amy McKenzie in the spring of 2000. We were both in full-on goth mode with matching goth attitudes. I recall first glances were exchanged through mutual curtains of jet black dyed hair at the pinnacle of Fairham's teenage angst at the turn of the century, Burger King. we drank copious amounts of coffee and we bled tears of the undead. Since initial goth murmurings, we kept a half memory of each other for a number of years, culminating in a particularly heavy house party in around 2002. Amy was there that night and I could not keep my eyes off of her. This time around, glances were exchanged through a haze of dreadlocks and trance music. The morning after, I was surveying the carnage and found a purse left behind. Cautiously extracting the driving licence, I found its owner to be that of a Miss Amy McKenzie. There's a little bit, isn't it? For some reason, that event stuck in my mind for years, even through university and back. Both myself and Amy are only children from opposite ends of the country. I don't know who to thank for putting us both in the same vicinity, but if there is such a person, they deserve the biggest thanks of all. Fast forward to today, this wonderful woman sat next to me has spent the last 8 months meticulously planning this day, down to the name placements and miniature plants on your table. I've been instructed to inform you that if any are left behind, they will be re-delivered to you personally, hopefully by a singing telegram. Please don't forget them, because I'll be doing singing. Amy is a truly magical person, an amazing mother of Florence. I'm undoubtedly the luckiest man alive to now be able to proudly introduce her, and in those appropriate moments, as my wife, Mrs. Amy McKenzie-Baughan. Speaking of McKenzie-Baughans, this beautiful little lady appeared in a ferocious thunderstorm on the 21st of July 2014. It's hard to believe that in a week she will be 2 years, or 24 months in parent speak. By appeared, I mean crashed welcomely into our existence with songs of moopers and boops. Although that thunderstorm seemed truly biblical after a solid week of labour and epidurals, this was probably enhanced by the gas and air that Amy, and to some extent me, in order to stay awake, were partaking. Flobo is growing so fast, and I'm delighted to say the best of both of us. With the notable exception of Cancerian moodiness, that's definitely my fault. I have no doubt whatsoever that she will give us the same joy and aggro that myself and Amy gave our long-suffering parents but I bet that journey will be the most rewarding one. Karma comes back one way or another. I see today as a celebration of us as a family, as well as being a unit of myself and Amy. If you could all raise your glasses, please. I would like to raise a toast to Florence Joy, McKenzie-Baughan, our little angel, and mischievous cheese ball.
Cheese ball.
Cheese ball.
Cheese board.
Again, I would like to thank you all for attending today. You'll notice on your table there are a couple of pieces of paper. One is our web pix cards, Exhibit A. You can use this app on your phone to upload any pictures of us all in various states of intoxication later. Much to the amusement of everybody, the more, the merrier. There are also some request sheets for our resident DJ Hammy. We'll be commencing general murders at 6 p.m. Anyone found to request S Club 7 or the Macarena will be escorted from the premises. At this juncture, I would like to hand over to my best man,
Oh dear.
brother from another mother and partner in crime, Wiggy. Any relation to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. This is conjecture, and all crimes were victimless. Thank you all so very much.
Well, which of the colours are right? It's only a hat, sweet. That's the general reaction I get out of most kids. Brilliant. Oh, you're here! Yeah, most of the girls. I haven't got one. Well, here we go. Worried. You've been worried sick about this, haven't you?
Yes.
You should be. I've been worried. I've known this man. We met in a strange circumstance. We met in 1999 at a big day out. Crowd full of thousands of people. I bumped into this man.
Boy, not that boy.
Oh, boy, yeah. Boy, very much boy. Bumped into this boy and yeah, we got on, talked, chatted. Who would have thought, a year later, I bumped back into him again in Ferrum. Unbelievable. From that moment, we've been best of mates. I'd quite class you as my brother. You are literally a brother from another mother. The things in my head that I know we've done, I can't talk about in crowds. I can't talk about. I mean, you know, look, lasers. You know all about lasers, don't you? Yeah. I can't talk about that. Deep Pete. We can't talk about that. We can't talk about that. Sore gums. We can't talk about that. Shed. We can't really talk about that either, can we? Drill. Now there's a subject we can talk about. That's the same subject, yeah? Pete's a very, very intellectual young man. Very intellectual young man. Common sense, nothing. Not really there. He was installing a door lock in one of his toilet doors downstairs. I'm stood next to him and I said to him, Pete, you know that drill stood next to you? Your dreadlocks are going to get knotted inside that drill. No, I'm alright, mate. I'm all good. I'm good. Pete, listen to me. Don't do it. It happened. He headbutted the drill. He did headbutt the drill. He did full face like that. You're really lucky you've still got this beautiful head of hair that you're so proud of today. Honestly and truthfully though, that's all alone. I didn't plan nothing because I don't need to. You're one of the best people I could ever meet. You've married one of the best people I know you could ever marry, mate. I'm extremely proud of you. I'm extremely proud of you. You've come good, mate. You've done good.
This is partly thanks to Wiggy as well, I have to admit, because he very much acted in a mentor and older brother capacity for a number of years, and for him I have to thank also for putting us in the situation now.
I love you with all my heart, mate. What more can I say? Dwayne Pete.
Dwayne Pete.
I love you both with all my heart, and I will do to the day.
Thank you.
Well done, Wig.
Yeah.
Well done, mate.
Three, two, one.
You cut a cake.
Stand there for 5 minutes to expect celebration.
And again. Finish up as well.
Yeah. Woo!